Hey everyone, this is Jared from Gertrude, and in this video I'm going to try to show you every part of getting started with Gertrude, starting all the way from signing up for a free account and all the way through getting everything installed on a child's Mac computer, and show you around the app and how everything works. First, a quick note about what you're seeing on my screen. For the duration of this video, my screen is going to be divided in two parts, and those two parts correspond to the two roles in Gertrude. On the left-hand side, I've got a simulated iPhone, and that represents the parent. I'm showing the parent in an iPhone because most of the time we find that our parents generally administrate Gertrude from their phones, although this could be anything. This could be a Mac computer, this could be an Android, a Windows computer. Anything that has a web browser will work for the parent, and that's what you see on the left side. On the right side is a Mac computer, and that's because Gertrude is always protecting a Mac computer. And so this right side is the child who is being protected on their Mac computer. Okay, so the very first thing to do when getting started is to create a free parent account. And you do that on the Gertrude site by clicking Sign Up, entering your email address, and Gertrude will send you a verification email. Because this is a simulated iPhone, I'm just going to go ahead and paste the link in here. And it's going to ask you how you want to use Gertrude. I'm a parent. Once you land in the parent's admin dashboard, it's going to tell you that you need to create a child. So I'm going to go ahead and click that, enter your child's name here, and click Save Child. On the next screen, you're going to see a big purple button saying Get Connection Code. If you click it, it'll show you a 6-digit code. We are going to use this in just a moment when we connect the child account we just created with the Gertrude app on a Mac computer. To do that, we're going to go over now to our child's Mac computer. That's over here on the right. And in order to get this connected, we need to download and install the Gertrude macOS app. To do that, we're going to open up a browser. I'll bring up Safari and go to gertrude.app/download. Click the download button. When it's done downloading, we'll double click and we'll be prompted to drag the Gertrude app into the applications folder. If you've ever installed an app on a Mac before, this is all pretty standard stuff. Once we drag the app into the applications folder, we'll go ahead and go into the applications folder, find Gertrude, and double click to launch it. When we first launch Gertrude, it's going to pop up what we call the Welcome Wizard. And this is just a set of screens that walks you through all the steps needed to get Gertrude configured. Because Gertrude is a parental controls app and needs to do things like filtering all your internet and taking screenshots and other things like that, there's a little bit of one-time setup where you have to grant the operating system permission to do all these things on your behalf. And so that's what this Welcome Wizard kind of walks you through, plus getting you connected to that child we created over on the left. So for this part of the process, you're going to want to just slowly click through each one of these screens, reading the instructions. You'll see me do it here in a moment. I'll go a little bit faster on the video because all the instructions are really contained in these screens. But if you pay close attention, it shouldn't take more than a couple minutes, and we'll give all the permissions that are necessary. And the good thing is this only needs to be done once. So we'll go ahead and get started. First, it's just confirming that we have a parental account, which is what we created over here on the left. So I'm going to say yes. Then we are about to need this connection code, which I have open here. So yep, I've got my connection code, and this is where I'm going to enter it in, 320823, and click connect. Then I'm going to click next, and this screen just kind of helps you see how to use these instructional GIFs. I'm going to go next. All right, now we need to allow notifications from parents. These are really important so that your child sees when you respond to a request that they make. So it's important we grant these. So go ahead and click Open System Settings, and you'll see right here at the top of my screen, I got a notification. You can click this and say Allow. And also the Welcome Wizard is showing you exactly how to set these notifications where you need them. So I'm just going to do that by coming over here to the System Settings app and clicking on Gertrude, making sure they're set to alerts. Then I can come back here and click Done. Next, we're going to grant screen recording permission. This allows us to take screenshots of what your child is doing. You get to control from the parent's admin site whether or not the screenshots are being taken, but we need you to give permission so that you're able to enable that and disable that and just have it work. So click Grant Permission, and we need to click the Open System Settings here, and we're going to toggle this on and authenticate. It's going to tell us that we need to quit and reopen. Go ahead and click that. When Gertrude reopens, it should say that it has the permission it needs for screenshots. And then we'll see this screen just letting us know that if we see this warning about bypassing the window picker, just to go ahead and click Allow. So we'll say Got it. Next, we're going to allow key logging, which allows us to record what your child types. Again, you can control this from the parent's website. We'll go ahead and grant permission. Click Open System Settings, toggle to give Gertrude access, and then we'll click Done. The last step is installing what's called the system extension. This kind of gives Gertrude its superpowers and allows it to filter all the internet traffic and do other stuff like this. So we're going to go ahead and click Next. And this screen is just showing you that the next step is really tricky. So I'm going to click Got it. And in just a moment, this system pop-up will show up. This is kind of the place that's easiest to make the mistake because we need to not click OK. We need to click Open System Settings. Once we do that, we'll get the option to click to toggle on, and then we have to authenticate again. And then we see this pop up, and we click Allow. And once we've done that, the welcome wizard will tell us that the system extension is installed. If we click Next, it's going to prompt us to just kind of notice and learn that the Gertrude app puts an icon in the menu bar up here. There, I just clicked it. And once this welcome wizard is gone, that's really the only place you're going to see Gertrude. It just runs in the background, kind of doing its job, keeping your child safe. And if they need to interact with it, they always need to go up to the menu bar. So we'll do that. And then next it's prompting us to go ahead and try clicking to the admin health check screen. And the way we do that is by clicking the Gertrude menu bar icon and then the gear icon, which will prompt us for our admin password. And once we do that, it will load up this health check screen. And you can see I've got everything is green checked, which is good, except for it's giving us a little warning that we have no keys loaded. And that's expected because we're just starting. You should see that as well. So if I close this, it'll bring me to a screen where I can watch a video showing how to do things in Gertrude, but I'm going to click Finish, and that's the end of the welcome wizard, and we can close out of here. At this point, if we go back to the parent admin site and refresh the screen we were on, we'll see that instead of prompting us to connect, it's going to now give us controls over the child that we're protecting. You can see I can enable and disable key logging, screenshots, downtime, and more. You can also see at the bottom of the screen that Gertrude has created an empty keychain for your child. Now, to explain what this means, I want to get briefly into kind of how Gertrude works. What makes Gertrude different from most other parental controls apps is that it, by default, blocks everything on the internet. So a lot of apps try to work by making categories of which sites are bad, maybe adult sites or gambling sites or social media, and trying to block them by category. And this sounds great in principle, except that it just doesn't work in reality. There are simply too many websites. There's brand new websites, thousands of them being created every single day, and nobody can properly categorize all the bad websites. And so to really and truly be safe, you have to do it the opposite way. You have to actually block everything. You have to assume that all websites are guilty until proven innocent. And then the parent actually unblocks the parts that they want their kids to have access to. It is definitely a little bit more work than the other way, but it's also the only truly way to be safe with your kids. And that's how Gertrude works. So we use the language of keys and keychains because the entire internet is locked up until you open up a part of it with a key. And then keys are grouped into keychains for sharing between kids and for some other reasons. Let me demonstrate this for a moment by opening up Safari again. If I try to go to any website, here I'll go to Yahoo, that didn't work. I'll try going to Bing, also blocked. I could do this all day and we literally wouldn't get anywhere because Gertrude is blocking everything. And so far, Franny doesn't have any keys, so there's not a single part of the internet that is unblocked. So this is super safe, which is really great, but it's also not that practical. We definitely need to unblock something in order for the computer to be useful for our child. The first way to unblock part of the internet is to assign your child what we call a public keychain. Over in your parent account, on the screen with the child's settings, if you click at the bottom, Add Keychain, you'll be able to click to view our public keychains. These are groups of keys unlocking websites, apps, popular online programs that you can assign to your kids to get part of the internet unblocked. As an example, I'm going to search for Khan Academy, a popular learning site, add the keychain, scroll down, and click Save. Once I've done that, if I come back to Franny's computer and try to go to Khan Academy, we'll see that it loads just fine. Feel free to browse through all of our public keychains, and if you'd like us to make one that's not on the list, just reach out. We're always adding to this list. The second way to unblock the internet is to create your own keys. We don't have public keychains for everything, so sometimes you're going to need to make keys for your own kids. Let's walk through an example. Let's say our child wants to get access to kids.nationalgeographic.com. It's blocked right now because we don't have a key for it. Let's go to the menu of our Gertrude Parents account and click Keychains. Then we can edit the keychain that was created for us. If I scroll down, I can click the button to add a key. I'll choose a website key, although you can also create an app key. And I'll put in the address nationalgeographic.com. Then click Next, Next, and we'll create the key. Great. If I come back to Franny's computer and try to reload this page, it works. But if you look closely, everything's not right. This video's not loading, and there's some missing stuff. What's going on here? Well, this is a super common part of unblocking websites with Gertrude. It happens because of a very technical reason, and I won't get into all the details, but the basic idea you need to learn is that most websites actually load part of the code they need from other websites. So to get a single website working properly, you often have to unblock 2 or 3 different domains, which are addresses on the internet. And that's one of the reasons why we group keys into keychains, is because this is such a common phenomenon. But how are you supposed to know which other sites need to be unblocked to get this one working? Well, Gertrude has a built-in way to show you what it's blocking. But before I demonstrate that screen, we're going to pause and go back and set ourselves up for success by creating a notification in the Gertrude Parents website. Back on your phone or computer where you're logged into the Parents website, go to the Settings screen. By default, we start you out with one verified notification method, which is your email address, because you've already proved to us that you own that. But most parents also like to add the ability to get notifications by text message. So let's do that right now. Click the Add Method button, change the method to text, and then put your phone number in here. Click Send Verification Code, and you should get a code sent to that phone number. I'll enter mine in here. Click Verify, and now it's saying, great, let's create a notification. That's because we've only confirmed a method by which Gertrude can notify us, but we haven't actually made a notification yet. So let's keep going. Here, it's prompting us to create a notification for filter suspension requests by default. You see, here's the method. It's my email or the text that I registered. And we've got two different options of what to receive notifications for. We want to create one of these for both. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And then I'm going to make a new notification that also goes to my phone number when an unlock request is sent. And I'll click Save. So now I have two notifications, one for filter suspensions and one for unlock requests. And I'm going to show you what both of those are in just a minute. Okay, back to Franny's computer where her website is only partially unblocked. When you get in this situation, go up to the Gertrude menu bar icon and click the Blocked Requests button. That'll pop up this window. And in this window, you'll see all the requests that Gertrude is currently blocking. There's nothing happening right now, but it's very common for you to see a whole bunch of requests if you have a lot of apps open. I've got nothing but Safari open at this point. But you could see many things, and it can look a little bit confusing and overwhelming at first. If you have a lot of things in here, then just use this clear button. I'll try to give you an example here. If I pulled up the News app, you'll see it tried to launch. I'll go ahead and minimize it. And right away, all these things flowed in here. You can see that if I click the clear button, then they all go away again. It's because of this phenomenon that we have this area right here where you get to enter a phrase to filter by. In this case, I'm not worried about news right now. I just want to work on nationalgeographic.com, and I'm using the browser Safari. So I'm going to type in Safari, and that gets rid of all requests that aren't from the Safari browser. Great, but I still don't know what to unblock. The next thing I need to do is go back to the broken website and click Refresh. When I do that, the browser tries to load again, and all the websites that were blocked that we need will show up in this screen. That's great. Once you've done that, click the Pause button. This just makes it so that we won't see any extra requests that probably aren't important, and we can focus on the ones that are here. Usually, if you've filtered to the app you're interested in, like I did with Safari, refresh the page and click Pause, you probably want to unblock all these websites. So I'm going to go ahead and select all four, and when I do that, I have a button enabled down here that says Send Unlock Request. Your child, if they're doing this, and eventually they will be the one doing this, can explain to you what this is for. But we'll just skip that step and click Send. At this point, if you've set up notifications like I showed you, you will get a text message or an email letting you know that your child has submitted an unlock request. You can also see these unlock requests by going to the dashboard of the parent site. And if you scroll down, you'll see, yep, there they are. Franny has 4 unlock requests. We'll accept all of them. If you click the Accept button, it'll give you a little summary of what they're hoping to unlock. I'll click Accept, and then it prompts you to add it to a keychain. I've only got one, that's my own, so I'll choose that and click Review Key. And here we're seeing a screen where we get to review the key that's about to be created. You can edit this if you like, but usually it's just what you want. So you can go ahead and click Submit. Once we've done that, we can accept the other 3 in the same way. Great. Now if I come back to Franny's computer, let's try reloading this website again. Perfect, look at that. Everything is loading properly, including the video. So that's the basics of how you create keys. Remember, you can, number 1, add a public keychain. Number 2, you can manually unblock a site by creating a key from scratch. Or number 3, in the most common way, your child can view the blocked requests and send you unlock requests. You'll find that with a little bit of practice, you and your child get the hang of this, and pretty soon you'll have a bunch of keys created that will give your child access to the everyday websites they need to use. However, there are some times when your child needs to access a part of the internet that you don't want to create a key for, or maybe you can't create a key. Some examples of this are Maybe your child's doing an online class and their teacher wants them to visit a few websites during the class, and they don't know what those websites are. You can't create keys for them in advance, and you probably don't want them to have those keys after the class is over. Another example is if they need to watch a YouTube video for something. Most parents don't want to unblock YouTube because there's a lot of bad content on it, but there are also some great videos and some things your child needs to have access to. For both these types of scenarios, when there's a short burst of unusual or unexpected internet activity that you need to allow, Gertrude offers filter suspensions. Here's how it works. Let's say that Franny needs to watch a YouTube video. If she goes to youtube.com, Gertrude is being very diligent and blocking it for her. But let's say she needs to watch a short video for her class. She can go up to the Gertrude icon and click Suspend Filter. She chooses an amount of time, tells us why for a video, and requests a suspension. At this point, you should get a text message if you created that notification that I showed you earlier. Because I'm using a simulated iPhone, I'm just going to paste the link in from the text message. Here we can see that Franny is requesting a filter suspension with her comment and how long. We can scroll down here and click Grant. On Franny's computer, you'll see that she got a notification that you accepted her suspend filter request. If she tries to refresh now, sure enough, she's got access. If she clicks the Gertrude menu bar, it'll show her that the filter is suspended, but is resuming in about 10 minutes. When she's done watching the video, she can click to resume early. The great thing about filter suspensions is that if you have screenshots and keystroke monitoring turned on, that continues during the filter suspension. This makes it really safe to even disable the filter for short periods of time because your children know that all their activity is still being recorded and you'll see what they do. When you're just getting started with Gertrude, feel free to use a lot of filter suspensions. It does take time to get all the keys set up that your child will need for their normal day-to-day activity. So while you're getting everything dialed in, use filter suspensions. It's a lot safer to suspend the filter from time to time than to get frustrated and uninstall Gertrude. After a few days, you'll get things dialed in really nicely, and then the filter suspensions can be more for truly unusual bits of activity or temporary access to sites that you don't want to unblock permanently. I'll go ahead and resume the filter for now. And that's basically it, but I'll show you a couple more things before we're done. If you click the Gertrude menu bar icon, there's two small buttons on the bottom. The one on the left, if you click it, refreshes the rules for your child. This is something you really hardly ever have to do because Gertrude sends updates of rules straight to your child's computer. But if you want to do it manually, that's what that button's for. Second is the gear icon, which brings you to the admin-only health check screen. So you have to put in your username and password. You've seen this once already before in the welcome wizard process, but it shows you a report of all of Gertrude's permissions and if it thinks everything is working properly. If you're ever having trouble with Gertrude, come to this screen and it'll probably be able to tell you what's going on and how to fix it. On the left-hand side, if you click the arrow icon, there's a few extra options that you only rarely need to use. This is a place, for instance, where you quit the app. Kids can't quit the app themselves, or else Gertrude wouldn't be able to continue protecting them. Finally, this third area deals with exempt users. This is a concept that's important if the computer that you've got Gertrude on is also used by someone that you don't want to be protected by Gertrude. So it's really common if a parent has an admin account on a Mac computer that they sometimes use, and a child is also using a different account protected by Gertrude. In this case, we need to do one more step and click to make that other user exempt from internet filtering. This is required because Gertrude by default is very conservative and tries to always do the safest possible thing. So if you haven't explicitly told it that a user should not have its internet filtered, it's going to be blocking by default. And that's just about it. There are more cool features you can check out, but you've got the basics. Before we're done, I want to show you one more thing, and that's how to review your child's activity in the Gertrude parent website. Back here on the dashboard, you'll see that I already have 19 unreviewed activity items, and it's showing me a recent screenshot. If I click on the activity item, I'll be brought to this screen. And if I click today's items, on this screen, you're able to scroll through a list of screenshots and keystrokes that were typed while your child was using the computer. You can see that Gertrude has been recording what I've typed and what's been happening on my screen while I'm making this video. This section's interesting. You'll notice that when the filter was suspended, Gertrude shows you that the screenshot probably needs a little extra attention with this red during filter suspension indication. As a parent, you can review these items at your own schedule, every couple days, maybe more often, maybe less. Most parents scroll through big chunks reviewing, and when they get to the bottom of a day, click a single button to approve all of them. This functionally deletes all those items, so you don't have to review them again. Even if you don't review every single screenshot, it's important that you review some of them, and from time to time, mention it to your kids. Every few days, during dinner time, I like to make a comment about a screenshot I've seen on Gertrude. This reminds my kids that I really do watch what they do online, and greatly adds to your child's safety and accountability. There are some more advanced features we didn't cover, things like enforcing a downtime on your child's computer where no internet access is allowed at all. This is often used overnight, just as an extra bit of protection for your child when they shouldn't be using their computer at all. You can also assign keychains only on a schedule. For instance, you might have a keychain for games, but you only want them to use that after school hours. If you have any problems or questions, please do reach out to us at gertrude.app/contact. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll get back to you in a hurry. Thanks so much, and good luck with Gertrude.